I'm Mary Trump. Yes, the other one of those. You might know my uncle is the authoritarian, convicted criminal con man currently wrecking the country from the safety of the Oval Office. But for the vast majority of my life, I've just known him as a fucking loser. So.
And if you're in the Oval Office today, what would you say to him?
Resign.
He's a narcissistic sociopath. He's a psychopath. He's a malignant narcissist.
Yeah, he's so f***ing stupid. I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt.
The guy's a nut job.
I'm gonna say one thing, fuck Trump.
And that's sort of one of the interesting things about him. Deep down, he's a very insecure person. He's very afraid.
Mary Trump, on her channel Mary Trump Media, re-emerged with sharp warnings about her uncle. The niece who once exposed family secrets now points at Donald and Melania's marriage, echoed by voices like George Conway and Robert De Niro. These weren't whispers. They were said out loud, shaping the story we're about to follow. Remember that everything you're about to hear was said out loud by the people who knew him best. Subscribe for more as the next chapter arrives.
He has no redeeming characteristics anymore, and I think he's dangerous.
But a new book from his own niece suggests what everyone but his base has already figured out. He's a fraud. I have no problem calling Donald a narcissist. He meets all 9 criteria as outlined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders.
In her book titled Too Much and Never Enough, How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man, Mary Trump offered sharp criticisms of her uncle, even portraying his marriage as a staged arrangement. Are these just family grievances or deeper truths? And if you think that was bad, just wait. What comes next makes reality TV look like ridiculous, and you don't want to miss it.
The only way Donald has changed, because he was always a bully, even when we were in the backyard playing baseball, I was 6 and he was 28. He would still throw the ball as hard as he could at me. He did it once. I thought I broke every single bone in my hand. Because he has to win. He has to be better than it.
Speaking in an interview with the Daily Tea, Mary recalled childhood moments with Donald, describing him as a bully even in simple games. Such memories now echo as part of a broader public portrait.
So, if you look at, there's narcissistic personality disorder, there's antisocial personality disorder, etc. If Donald were a patient of a clinical psychologist, and if he were willing to go through a battery of tests in order to be diagnosed, chances are, I'm speculating, but it's informed speculation, that he would come back with a diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder. There's probably a lot of comorbidity there. He's a very troubled man.
What does it mean when even family describes Donald in clinical terms? In her interview, Mary suggested he'd likely meet criteria for multiple disorders. Remarks now replayed widely alongside media coverage and past clips.
Mother was very ill. So she was psychologically, emotionally, and physically absent for about a year, which is devastating. So one problem is that during that time, the only person he had as a quote unquote caregiver was his father, who was a sociopath.
You say he's a sociopath?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
He had no empathy. He was incredibly driven in a way that turned other people, including his children, his wife, into pawns to be used to his own ends.
And building on those revelations, Mary traced the roots back to Donald's childhood. When caregivers show no empathy, what patterns does that leave for the future?
He continues to be a bully. He continues to be somebody who revels in grievance and, quite honestly, who can't actually accomplish anything on his own. This is a dangerous person. We already know, because he's telling us that if he does manage to get back into the White House again, his entire administration will be about settling grievances and getting revenge on his political opponents.
In her LBC interview with Andrew Marr, Mary described a figure who thrives on grudges and craves revenge. And if another shot at power is all about settling scores, what does that mean for those closest to him, even Melania?
He still is the president of the United States of America, which fills me with horror to say. And even if he doesn't know why he's doing what he's doing, even though if he's doing things like imposing tariffs because he doesn't understand how they work, all of this has a very real impact on our future.
In her remarks, Mary warned that when a Twitter-addicted showman makes choices without grasping the consequences, the impact reaches far beyond politics. And clips like this, resurfacing now, highlight how private doubts from family members are feeding into public debate over leadership. What do you make of it? Drop your thoughts and join the debate below.
He acts like a tough guy. Now, none of that's true. I mean, he's belligerent, but he's not a tough guy, and he doesn't care about them. He does not care about their self-interests, and we can see this in what's happening with the economy. Inflation's going up, prices are going up, the social safety net is being completely frayed and endangered, right? But they still think that he's fighting for them because he just says that, and he says it loudly, and he says it repeatedly. The Democrats keep supporting Donald's.
Recent interviews with Mary Trump have drawn media attention as she raised concerns about Trump's image and its contrast with economic realities. These remarks, resurfacing now, highlight how family voices shape public debate.
And that's sort of one of the interesting things about him. Deep down, he's a very insecure person. He's very afraid, and that explains in part the extreme degree to which he has to convince himself and other people that he's always right, and he's always great, and he's always the best.
In her MSNBC interview with Ari Melber, Mary Trump described patterns of deep insecurity she sees in her uncle. When such insights come from family, do they shift how the public interprets his image?
First of all, he just is fundamentally a racist. He thinks he's better than the other. You know, he grew up in a racist family with a racist father. But beyond that, Donald thrives in chaos and division, and he will, because he is so weak and incompetent, pick the lowest common denominator. In my view right now, the entire party is the problem, and he's just being allowed to sow division. He's already cheating. He's cheating right now by, dismantling sorting machines at the post office and calling into question the legitimacy of election.
What was once dismissed as commentary is now resurfacing as evidence in political debates. In her MSNBC sit-down, Mary Trump framed her uncle's politics as driven by division and chaos. And Mary wasn't the only one speaking out. Soon, other powerful voices stepped in, each with their own sharp take, setting the stage for a chorus of reactions we can't overlook.
What we will see is the first thing that you see in any kind of regime that's run by a narcissistic sociopath who only cares about himself and advancing his own power is corruption. And this president doesn't have good faith and these orders. He does not care. He is a lawless criminal. And we have basically a criminal regime.
In recent interviews, George Conway characterized Trump's leadership as driven by self-interest and corruption. Such descriptions, widely replayed in media coverage, have become part of the broader debate on political accountability.
Because he is a narcissistic sociopath, and he doesn't believe in anybody other than himself. He doesn't believe in the country. He doesn't believe in any of you. He doesn't believe in the rule of law. He doesn't believe in the Constitution that he would swear to uphold. And he's all about his aggrandizement and putting himself first and revenge. And that's what narcissistic sociopaths do. They seek revenge.
On Jimmy Kimmel Live, George Conway described Trump in stark terms, pointing to patterns of self-interest and revenge. Clips like this keep resurfacing, leaving audiences to weigh what they reveal. Stay tuned, this conversation is only getting louder.
You know, they all agree. He's nuts. He's absolutely a sick man. It becomes the other side's problem to control him. They say, Donald, don't talk about cats being eaten. And they what? What does he do? Talks about cats being eaten. Okay? I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
he's like a 6-year-old. It really is unbelievable.
When even close observers describe behavior this way, how does it shape public perception? On Jimmy Kimmel Live, George Conway's comments about Trump's unpredictability added another layer to the growing conversation.
He's a narcissistic sociopath. He's a psychopath. He's a malignant narcissist. All these, it's like a Venn diagram, right? Remember those from school? All of those circles kind of coincide. Narcissist, sociopath, they coincide. Donald Trump's in the middle of all of them. He fits every single one of them. It's like the criteria were made to describe him.
On air, Conway's remarks quickly became part of the wider media narrative now under review.
And Donald Trump has no moral conscience and no empathy. He does not care about anybody else other than Donald Trump, which is why in his first term he said, Article 2 lets me do whatever I want, Article 2 of the Constitution. The first Trump term, which I call Shit Show 1, was an assault on the rule of law, but it was only like it was like cancer. It was like a stage 1, maybe stage 2. We got to stage 2 right around January 6th. And he was a threat to the rule of law.
When critics highlight a lack of empathy tied to broad claims of power, it's less about the rhetoric and more about the implications. Conway's comments on Jimmy Kimmel Live added another layer to the legal and political debate.
I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry.
Strong words from Robert De Niro on national TV framed Trump as a source of deep frustration and anger. The video, released by anonymous content for the Get Out the Vote campaign, only heightened the media spotlight.
He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so. What I care about is the direction of this country. And what I'm very, very worried about is that it might go in the wrong direction with someone like Donald Trump.
In a campaign video, Robert De Niro voiced concern about the country's direction under Trump, remarks that quickly stirred wider debate. What's your take? Drop a comment below.
I don't know whether this is actually possible in reality, but where I can handcuff him and take him away in an orange jumpsuit. That would be... That's what I said right after he was elected. Give him a chance. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. This guy has proven himself to be a total loser.
On The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Robert De Niro's sharp remarks about a certain headline grabber drew strong reactions. The real question is whether moments like this reveal more about politics or about how the media shapes the story.
You must have crossed...
He was an idiot. He was a clown. He was a clown in New York. And New Yorkers said, some would go with him, of course, people who work in what he does, some of them. But it's just, he's a classic bully. If you had a schoolyard and he walked in and he had his bully friends around, the other people decide whether they want to oppose him or they want to let him just tell him what to do and own the schoolyard or the basketball court or whatever it is. He's got to be stopped.
As critiques mounted, Robert De Niro likened Trump's rise to a schoolyard bully gaining ground through fear. His remarks, echoed on stage, became another layer in the ongoing public debate.
He's more than that to me. He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system. And I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency.
He's a fake president.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, he calls everything fake because he knows he's fake. So he's projecting.
He's projecting all the time, yeah. Accuse them of the thing that you know that you did.
That somewhere deep down, I don't want to get all psychological.
Robert De Niro, on The Late Show, sketched the picture of a fake president, like a B-movie star trapped in the wrong role. Such moments, widely shared, continue shaping how audiences interpret his political persona. And after all these outside voices, the focus shifts back inside Trump's own household, because Mary Trump suggests the biggest risk to him may not come from rivals, but from Melania herself.
He's always speaking in hyperboles. He's trying to convince himself as much as he's trying to convince you, me, or everybody else, right? Then we understand that he doesn't really believe it either. So we attack those points as well. I continue to think that the best weapon against Donald Trump is mockery, and just revealing all of those weaknesses.
Mary Trump noted how exaggeration shapes much of his style, suggesting that exposing those patterns has become a tool for critics. Clips like this continue to fuel wider discussions in media circles.
We basically find ourselves now with a person who just needs to have the things he has to believe about himself. He's the greatest, the best, repeated or told him by somebody else in order to make him malleable. And I think I write in the book that that's one of the things my grandfather did. He made Donald eminently useful to smarter, more powerful men. And that's an extremely dangerous situation for us to be in, considering the power that Donald has.
Mary Trump pointed out how constant validation shaped his rise, warning that reliance on such reinforcement poses risks when tied to real power, an observation now circulating widely in media debates. In conclusion, Mary Trump's remarks add another layer to the ongoing conversation about Donald Trump's character and the dynamics within his family. Her perspective, drawn from both personal experience and public observation, highlights tensions that continue to shape how his image is understood. Whether through Melania's silence or broader public debate, the implications of these revelations are far from over. This video uses real quotes, public footage, and fair use commentary. If the truth made you think, don't forget to like, share, and speak up.